Hey, what's up, everybody? Andrew from Fantasy 8 here to give you 5 fantasy baseball busts for the 2017 season. It's the new year, just drafted about 12 hours ago with the guys over at Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous. It was so much fun, and it was interesting to see the changes from the draft I hosted. It was a lot of fun. So let's get into the busts. And number 1 is Gary Sanchez. Now, if you watched my Gary Sanchez video, you know I am pretty leery of him and where he's going. Of course, he took the league by storm, hitting 20 home runs in only 53 games. Ridiculous 679 slugging percentage. And now I realize that no one is actually drafting him thinking he'll maintain this pace, but he's still going too high. Quick note, in his last 7 games, he batted .95, .095. It's 1 home run in his last 7 games. And of course, that's a small sample size. It means relatively nothing in the large scheme of things, but he will do that to you sometimes. What he did last season was not his minor league track record, and he's gone in round 4 in both drafts I've done, and that's just way too high for me. You don't have a lot of wiggle room there, especially at the catcher position. I mean, he'll be playing his first full season next year. He might get tired down the stretch, which is when our fantasy playoffs would be. In round 4, I'm just staying away from Sanchez. Number 2 is Josh Donaldson. Now, before, when I made my round 1 projections, I had him going number 4, but this is before Toronto lost all their bats. He's been a mainstay as one of the top 4 third basemen to go in the first round. Arenado, Machado, Bryant along with him. And Donaldson had a great park and a loaded offense. E5, Joey Bats, Devin Travis, all those guys. And, E5's gone now. Bautista has not signed anywhere yet, so it's conceivable he could go back. But if Bautista doesn't go back, the lineup will look something like Pilar, Tulo, Donaldson, Morales, Martin, and Travis, which is a far cry from 2016 when, you had Bautista, Donaldson, E5, Tulo, you had all those guys, and I've already noticed a change. He fell out of the first round in the draft we did. He went into the second round, which wasn't too far of a drop, but it was pretty significant. I think the E5 news has really affected people's view on Donaldson. So if he falls further, he might fall out of the bust category just because you don't have to pay a first round talent for him. So it'll be interesting to see how Donaldson's handled as we get closer to baseball season. Number 3 is Giancarlo Stanton. The draft we did today, he went as the first pick of the second round. And it's because of the tantalizing power upside that he has. Owners just can't stay away from that, and I can't blame him for that. I mean, he has so much power, so much promise, but the freak injuries, he has a lot of bust potential, especially if you have to take him early in the second round. Like, I don't want to take him there. Yeah, but as I mentioned before, he was the first pick of the second round in the New Year's Eve FSA mock draft. You can check those guys out at FantasySportsAddicts.com. We love hanging out there, chatting on the website, talking fantasy baseball all the time. Number 4, Justin Verlander, the big comeback. Everyone in the offseason was worried about his arm load. He's never going to be the same pitcher again, but he bounced back, had a great season, had the most first-place Cy Young votes despite not winning it, and that gave off a pretty fun Twitter exchange from Kate Upton. But, one thing I noticed, in 2015, he only pitched 133 innings. Now, did that help him this season? There's no concrete way to know, but he did pitch 227.2 innings last year. And just because he had a good season, the inning concern is still there. The innings are still piling up on that arm. So he's gone in the 4th round in both drafts I've done so far, and I'm not willing to do that when you have guys like Strasburg, who does have his own injury concerns. Of course, David Price went after him. I take Price, You got guys like that still on the board when Verlander's going off, and I'm still leery of those innings because just because he had a good season doesn't make them disappear. And finally, at number 5, we have Will Myers. He paid huge dividends for anyone that drafted him late rounds last year. 28 homers, 28 steals, and that's in a fantasy landscape where it's really hard to find a combination of both. You know, you got Myers, you got Goldschmidt, you got Altuve, and not much else when it comes to big power and steals. And Altuve is not really a big power guy, and Goldschmidt didn't hit as many as he usually does. So, you know, Will Myers looks really appealing, but he didn't have a good second half. He dropped off, batted 233 with only 9 homers and 13 steals, compared to 286 with 19 homers and 15 steals in the first half. And of course, some of that stat line is encouraging. His steals didn't fall off the map; they were pretty consistent throughout the year, but his average and homers did fall. He went in round 3 in my draft and round 6 in the FSAA draft, so it looks like he's got a wide range of where he'll go. But if you're taking him in round 3, I don't think he'll live up to that ADP. I don't think he's going to have as good a season as he had last year. So you're picking a lot of risk if you get him at round 3. So those are 5 potential busts for the 2017 season for Fantasy Aid. I'm Andrew, and thanks for watching.